able to do everything. He wasn't like that. He grew up day by day, month by month, and matured into a person. So this is how we're gonna look at. How the design of a person is. So it's a little complicated, but it's just a way of showing. And this is a person, a being. In the Bible, it has we say 3 parts. So there's a spirit, and the soul, and body. We know what the body is because we see. Arms and legs and the eyes and nose and the whole body. We have a body. So I don't need to explain much about the body. But the spirit and soul, it is not visible. You cannot see the spirit nor soul. And it is, from culture to culture, America and Asia, they have a different views about people. But Bible says there's a spirit part and the soul or mind, then there's a body. So 3 parts. It's a being. So when we talk about the leadership, we want to see about the spirit, we want to see about the soul, the mind, and the body. So that says imago Dei. It's a Latin saying the image of God or God's image. So Bible tells us that we are created in the image of God. The word image in English is a little different than original language in the Bible, but it kind of has the nuance and the sense of the word. So image is something that is not visible, actually. That is something that is not visible. But in modern use of the word image, they think of something that's visible, but it's not it's something invisible. So we are made into the image of God. And the image of God includes soul and the spirit, not the body. Then next, that's how the diagram shows. Being as a soul, body, and spirit. Okay. And then a person as a being also, in the soul part, there's a spirit, soul, and body. In the soul part, there are 3 different areas. You have to know and you have to feel, and a person wants or desires, has a will. So we say it's cognitive, affective, and affirmative. It's a kind of a complex and different academic way of saying knowing, feeling, and wanting. See, when you see a person, think of someone, yourself or someone that you know. And the people basically have knowledge. They are educated, they have more knowledge. If they are less educated, they have less knowledge. And then everyone has a different feelings. Someone angers a certain thing, but other people do not get angry at the same thing. So feelings are different, but you have emotions, feelings, and then you have a want and desire and will. So you make a decision and then go out and do the things that you want to do. So that's how a person is. So not only you have to know about yourself as a leader, you have to know how this person is feeling, how much this person knows, and how this person desires and wants, and make a decision. So that's very important. So that's how diagram shows. See, there's a knowing part, and the feeling part, and willing part, and it becomes a being. So that's how you are made. So God made you into His image, which means God also, He knows, and God feels, and God wills. So God God is willing, God is knowing, and God is feeling. So we are made the same. I mean, very same. Just God, it's like a mirror. So we reflect ourselves to the mirror, and there's God. And God reflects Himself to us. So that part, the image of God, is the same. Next. Okay, being. Let me try to explain what the being is. That's something that is not visible in us. You cannot see the being. But you can tell how the being is because you communicate, you interact, and then you get to know a person. You can say, this person is like this person is like that. And that's a being, something that's not visible. And that is more important, your visible part. I mean, these days, the dramas, whether it's American drama or Korean dramas, they show a very nice, well-built, and handsome person or beautiful girl. So that's something that's visible. But there's something more important within us. And that's the ancient wisdom. I mean, many Asian cultures, China, Korea, Japan, and most Asian cultures are influenced by Confucius ideas, right? And then that Confucius idea is more important as inside than outside. So that's the main idea. And the Bible teaches us the same thing. What's inside us, that's not visible. The being is more important than how you look outside. And this being thing, feeling, everyone has feeling. Knowledge, everyone has a little knowledge. And whether it's much or less, there's some difference, but everyone has that knowledge. And also, everyone has a will. They want to make a decision. So that sense, everyone is the same. Also, we have a spirit, soul, and body. All person has this three major parts. In that sense, we are the same. And also, God created us with His character and His traits and His personality. So that's the image of God. So we are created just like God in that sense. And everyone is the same. So that's how America had the idea of equality. Because we are person, we are equal as a person. So no one is higher than the other, no one is lower than the other. We are all created in God's image, therefore we are the same. So that's how the democracy began. So democracy is based on the biblical idea, biblical thinking. So that America just didn't born to be a democratic country, but it has a root of this biblical idea, biblical worldview, and many years, 1,000 years in Europe. And then they brought it to America, and they started a new country, and they began to think democratic way, which is biblical Bible way. Okay? Then we are saying, but there is a different element for each of us. We look different, we talk different, we think different. So everyone is different too. So we are same, but we are different. So this is how we see the people. So as a leader, if you are a leader in a church or in a company or in a business, then you have to see how different people are. And not only see that, you try to understand. So that's the art of leadership. Now, a being, the inside of you, a person, it grows and matures. It should grow and mature. But there are people who just stop as age 5 or age 10 and then don't grow. I mean, their body grows because we eat and feed yourself, and you grow. But inside may not grow. It doesn't grow automatically. You have to study, work hard to grow and mature. So being, it changes daily, moment by moment, and positive change is growth. Negative change is reducing or declining or backsliding. You know the word backsliding? That's just sliding back to where you were, into less mature person. So that's a backsliding. And then fundamental. This is being is fundamental to doing. We're going to talk about doing after lesson 4, I believe. But doing comes when there is a being. So being comes first. So be a person, be a good person, and be a good mature person. Then acting or doing or functioning or working, it is valuable. But without becoming a mature person, the things you do, it may even hurt you back. Because some of the things that you do may not be legal, may not be ethical, and may not even be spiritually correct. Then if that happens, it's going to hurt you back. So, for a leader, you have to be mature yourself. And if you're a leader, you're trying to mature other person, the inside of that being part. Okay? So, we're going to begin that actual lesson 2-1, leadership ethos. So ethos is something that's a value. That's essence. That's a core thing, and that's the stuff. That's the important stuff. So ethos number one. So we have several ethos about leadership. I mean, there's hundreds of ethos, but we're gonna pick some of the important ethos, and we'll elaborate or talk about it. Okay, so personal conviction. Personal conviction. You have to have a personal conviction to come to the class, and you kind of make a conviction to come. So, what is a conviction? I don't know if it's the right word in Chinese, but probably similar maybe. The conviction is, if you are a Christian, you should find your conviction from the Bible. And if you're not a Christian, you still have your conviction. I mean, it's not only for the Christian thing. Conviction, everyone who is a mature person and who's an adult, you're over 18, then you should have a certain conviction. So inside you say, I believe this. I know this. And I'm going to do this. This is conviction. So you make a big decision in your life, and you commit yourself, and you give your time, and you give your energy to, and then you are convicted. If you're a sports player, I mean the soccer player, a baseball player, if you're a professional player, then you must have that conviction. And without conviction, you're not going to be a professional player. And say, if you're a medical doctor, you have to have a certain conviction to become a medical doctor. So it's a decision about yourself, about your life, and it's a decision about what you are going to do, and it's a decision about who you are going to be. Many of young people, I mean, not your age young people, but young teenagers these days, they do not have conviction. That's a problem. It's a global issue. I mean, it wasn't used to be like that. I mean, think of when you were growing up, or your parents. when they were like 15, 16, they had to have certain conviction to survive because it is very difficult. I mean, it used to be very difficult war. I mean, Korea, China wasn't like this. I mean, just 20 years ago, it was very different. 30 years ago, it was much different. But now the young people, they are growing in a much better environment. But the problem, when there's much better environment, there's less conviction. So that's an issue. So a leader, you need to be convicted yourself. You have to have conviction, and you are teaching others about the conviction. Since this is a biblical leadership, we're going to look at some of the Bible verses. But do not be offended if we are not a believer. It's okay. I mean, Bible is a good book to read, even though you're not a Christian. And it's a good book to have wisdom. In Genesis, there's a greatest mandate. If you're a Christian, you may know about the Great Commission. But this is the greatest commission, greatest mandate. And God said, when He created man and woman, and then this is what He said after He created Adam and Eve, said, be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and govern it. Reign over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, and all the animals that scurry along the ground. It's Genesis 1:20. This is a very famous verse. Why this is a blessing? I mean, it says God blessed, right? God blessed. And now you have to ask why this is a blessing. I mean, it looks like a lot of responsibility, chores, things to do, a lot of work, tests. And God gives you a whole bunch of responsibility and thinking, why this is a blessing? And it is a blessing. Because being fruitful, it means that you are going to grow and mature. And it's like a tree. I mean, you plant a seed and it grows and it flowers and then it makes a fruit. When it makes a fruit, it's a tree, right? It's really a tree. And Jesus once said there's a fig tree, and that fig tree didn't have any fruit, and Jesus was mad about it, and he just cursed it, and it just died there. So that's very, extreme action for Jesus to do that. The reason why he did is because fig tree meant to, bear fruits, figs. If it's an apple tree, it's meant to produce apples. Same thing with a person, people. If you're a person, you are to grow and mature and bear fruit with the flowers. So that's how God designed us, you, each and every one. That's what the Bible is teaching. You are uniquely and wonderfully made. And each of you are different. And still, God wants you to bear fruits. Not just religious things, but God wants you to be a good career person, maybe. God wants you to be a best businesswoman. God may want you to be a doctor. God already has His ideas about you when God created you guys and me. So that's a blessing, the concept of blessing, and you have to mature. You get to mature. Maturing is a good thing. It's a good thing. So that's why it's a blessing. Multiply means to have fellowship. You're by yourself. If you're living by yourself, the word loneliness always there. So loneliness is not a good thing, and God doesn't want him to be lonely, and God did not want us to be lonely. So he wanted us to be multiplied. Many of us. When there's many of us, you can find a friend. I mean, it is difficult to find a friend out of 3, but it is much easier to find a friend out of 30 people. See, there is more choice. There is someone you can relate. So this is how it works. I mean, also the multiply means you build a family, a good family. And family is a very valuable thing, right? These days, many young people don't want to get married. And so that means they don't want to have a family. That's a good thing for a certain period of time, but when you get older, and then you're gonna miss to have a family. So that kind of comes natural. But sometimes it is too late to go back. I mean, you're already too old to get married and have children. And then when that happens, you're not gonna have a family. So to multiply means to have families. So God is blessing us with friends and families. Then to fuel means that you are going to enjoy your portion. God gave you a certain area or the portion, the territory, and then you are to fuel that territory. And then govern. Govern, it takes a lot of work and energy. And you are going to use your energy and your talent and your gift and your know-how to govern. So it means that you are going to use yourself. You make yourself available for the work. So using you for the good work, that's a blessing. So that's okay. Blessing to bless. This is. Then the Lord said to Abram. This is in Genesis 12. Leave your country, your kindred, and your father's household, and go to the land that I will show you. I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. So God blesses you, Abram, so he can go and bless others. Same thing for us. God bless us, so we can go out and bless others. So that's how it works. I mean, God does not bless us for just our own selfish ego, but He blesses us so we can go out and do the same to others. So we say channel of blessing. It's like through you, blessings go out. God gives you a blessing, and it kind of goes out through you, and you become the channel of blessing. That's how it works. Okay. Next thing, a blessed blesser. So same thing. So you are blessed, and you become a blesser. So you want to be blessed, and then you live a life of a blesser. So there are a lot of ways to bless. And even saying, I bless you, that's a big thing. I told you that last week that I'm working as a hospice chaplain. So hospice chaplain are the pastors who are doing the prayer and reading of Bible for the patients, sick people. But these sick people, the doctors tell them you have only 6 months or less to live. And so that's what we call terminal. And so you're dying at least within 6 months. But sometimes they live a year or 2 years. And because you don't exactly, and even though you're a doctor, you cannot exactly put the lifespan on a person. But I go out and do not do much. I mean, I just pray for them and I say the blessings, and they are grateful. They thank you. They give thank you, because the word No, just blessing. Say, I bless you alone means a lot to them. It helps them. So you can be a blesser anytime, anywhere. Just if you have your mouth, you go out and say, I bless you in the name of God or in the name of whatever. And that's going to help others. So the whole thing, I mean, the leader is a blessed blesser. So you have to be blessed, and then you are going to bless others. You are blessed to bless other nations, and you are blessed when you bless others. Okay? Now, knowing that the blessing is very important for leader, you are blessed with these things. Okay? So the first one is a call, or the call. So you have to have this personal conviction, this blessing. Calling is blessing. See, think of, let's see, I'm not so much a fan of President Trump, but say you are a fan of President Trump. And if President Trump calls you to White House, and you feel blessed, right? So that's the kind of call we are talking about. And God, if you are a great fan of God, and if God calls you, and you're going to be thankful, and you feel wonderful, and you feel great, I'm excited. That's how it's going to be. So the call is very good thing. All callings from God is blessing. Call to life from that. First thing is call. See, the Bible tells us, that because of our own sin, not because of Adam's, but because of our own sin, we are going to die. We are destined to die eternally. But through Jesus Christ, we are brought back to life. So that's the main message in the Bible. So through Jesus Christ, we are back into life again. So that's the call. So when we talk about the call, the with the big T-H-E, the call, that's bringing us from death to life. So there are two different calls in the Bible, the call and just call. So the call is bringing us into life. And then you are called to be a mature Christian. So that's a second call. And then you are called to serve others. So these are very important three calls. So try to remember these three calls. You are called into life, and you are called into maturity, growing, and becoming a better person. Then you are called to serve others. So three calls. And if you are a Christian, a believer, and think of these three things, and yes, yes, yes. If all three is yes, then you are certainly a leader, already a leader, and you're serving. But you say yes to first one, and then yes to second one, but if you're not saying yes to the third one, that you still need to find someone to serve. See? So that's how it works. Then we have God calls to bless, not to burden. See, when we think of calling, we think of something that's burdensome, heavy, responsibility, pressing your shoulder. No, that's not it. Calling is a blessing, it's not burden. Okay? That's here. Concept and definition. you are called to a certain identity. So when you are called, you have a name. See, me, I'm called as a pastor, so I have a name. And you may be called as a mother. See, so every calling has a name. So you have certain identity when you are called. You are called as a teacher. Now you are called as a student. So student is a very important calling for you guys from now. So it is good thing to come to the class and sit down and listen to the lectures and think about it. I mean, many of our Asian education system, you listen and you learn and you kind of imitate what you learn. That's about it. But when you come to America, they teach you to think, and they give you the problem, and they want you to solve the problem. So this listening is just one part of education or studying. So in this class, I want you to think. Even though you're listening, I want you to think and ask questions to yourself, and then you can ask a question to me as well. Okay, the next call to intimate. So when you're called, you are making friend with God, and then you are calling to get attention. So if you call somebody's name, say, "Hey, you," even that's calling, and you want his or her attention. Same thing with God. God calls you, and He wants you to give attention to Him. So that's calling. Okay? And then you call someone to give something, right? And God does the same thing. God calls you, and He wants to give you something. So giving is a very important part of calling. And God also calls you to tell you something. So when you call someone, and you're going to say something to that person. So that's the calling. So that's a basic concept of calling. So calling to give, to tell, to share, to get attention. So this is the call. And God did the same thing to people. And as a leader, if you're called, and God calls you to do all these things. The concept of call. God called all people to become His children. So this is called universal calling. And in the book of 2 Corinthians 5:15 says, "And He died for all, that those who live might no longer live for themselves, but for Him who for their sakes died and was saved." The important thing is Jesus Christ. I mean, that's the center of the whole Christianity. He died for all, not just this kind of person, just for me or the believers, but He died for all people. So it's given to everyone. That's the limit. So when God calls, He calls everyone. And same thing says in Hebrew. Okay, you can look up there. And there's what we call particular call. So that's a universal calling and particular calling. Universal calling is for everyone. Death to life. Okay, you believe this Jesus Christ, and you're going to be brought from death to life through Jesus Christ. That's a universal calling. It's for every people and every nation, every ethnic group, whether you're Korean, Chinese, American, Japanese, doesn't matter. God calls you, so it's universal. But once you become a Christian, a believer, and God is calling to a particular group, which means it's different. this person has this call, that person has a different call. That's a particular calling. So particular calling might be your job, your career, and there's a certain people that you are to serve, and there's a certain region and area that you have to go to serve, and there's a certain time and era. So we are born into 2019 and live this era. So you're called to a certain time. Okay, Moses. Probably, if you're a Christian, you know his story, right? When the Lord saw that he had gone over to God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, here I am. So this is a very famous story in the Old Testament. And Moses went to the Sinai mountain. And then God appears. I mean, not in physical form, but in voice. So God and Moses hears his voice. And then there's a bush that's burning. But the bush itself, the tree itself is not burning. So Moses, it is strange. And then he hears a voice, Moses, Moses. So that's what happened to Moses. And probably it's not going to happen to you. I mean, so Moses is someone different, I mean special. But this is what happened to Moses. Then Peter. Peter is one of 12 disciples, right? Jesus had 12 disciples, and he's one of them. And Peter was also called by Jesus. And the Peter's brother, actually, Andrew, he brought Peter to Jesus, and Jesus tells him to just say, you are Simon, the son of John, you shall be called Cephas. So Jesus gives a name to this Peter, a new name, which means Peter, which it also means rock. So when Jesus calls Peter, he gives a name. And the same thing. God is going to give you a name. And each of you, especially, we in Asian culture, in Chinese character culture, letter culture, I have a Chinese name as well, and it means holy and excellent. So that's why I become a pastor probably. And so your name has a certain meaning, and it kind of has to do with your life. So already your name is a calling to you, right? Okay, let's go over quickly. Okay, image and likeness. If you read the Bible, there's a very important verse in Genesis, and there's a God decides to make a human being, and He says, "I will make in our image and our likeness." So that's what we are going to look at very often. So time after time, I'm going to say this. And the being and doing is very important part of us. Okay? Now, see, calling, when you're calling, I told you that, see, even in your family, I don't know about the American culture, but in Asian culture, the older brother can call the younger one and, ask him to do the chores. So that's kind of image. So when God calls us, He gives us a mandate, responsibility, work to do. And that's called mandate. And that's a responsibility. So a Christian leader has a responsibility for the church and also has a responsibility for the world. So this is a picture. So there's a church and there's a world, and the church is there to serve the world. So many churches today, they are just focused on building their fellowship, their body, their congregation. So they think many are better. So they gather people and try to, just get them into the church. But they are not sending them out. But the church is there to serve the community, the world, the unbelieving world. So we do the evangelism. That's okay, that's good. I mean, you gotta do the evangelism. But that's not all. There's more than evangelism. And if you're a Christian leader, a church leader, you have to think about this picture. I mean, the church is there to serve others, to serve the world. The word in a Christian language, it may mean these things. It has actually, in the Bible, the word, the vocabulary is used in at least 3 different ways. And the first one, the word means all people that do not know God or do not know Jesus Christ. So that's one sense, one meaning of the word. And number 2, it means the whole universe, the cosmos. So when there's a passage that says the world, it may mean second one. And then third one is a simple state. That's the world. So worldly means sinful, not according to God's will. So that's how we understand the word. And lordship. See, the first conviction was the call. Then second, the ethos for the conviction is lordship. Even though you are not a Christian, you're not a believer, this is a very important word. Because you have to serve something or someone in your life. And that's lordship. Let me try to explain. Okay, there's a word Lord means master, authority, and the Lord actually owns you. So in the not these days, but in the ancient times, if you're a slave, you have the Lord, the master, and your master owns you. So if you're a slave, then you are his property, right? So that's where the Lord word comes. And lordship is acknowledging or acknowledging and obeying the law. So that's lordship. So who is your Lord? That's the question. What controls your life? So think. It's a thinking question. Who is the Lord of my life? Because, I mean, whether you're a believer or not, you have to have Lord in your life. And it might be different from this person to that person. And that's the something or someone who controls, who gives the orders. And sometimes you're willingly follow that, and sometimes you kind of reluctant, but you have to follow that. So the lordship is a very important vocabulary for the leaders. Okay, we will finish with this the first session of the class. Okay, I told you that I'm going to give a 1 point every class during this exercise. So in your notes you can write this. Question: who is your leader? Who is your master? And then the answer should be like this: my leader or my master is such and such because. Okay, easy enough, right? So think who your master or the leader is and the why. I'll ask each of you to say the answer, and then after that we'll take a 5 minutes break.
I have a question.
Does
Does it need to be a person?
No, it doesn't have to be a person.
Okay.
It could be a thing or something else.
Thank you.
I'll give you 1 minute to think. Okay, why don't we start from you, sir?
Me? My master is time.
Time. Right.
Yeah.
And reason?
Because I am always running against it, and time's ticking. It doesn't stop. It's ruthless. It will not forgive mistakes.
Right.
And that's how I feel. Even though I have faith, I feel like my master in my life is time.
So true. So true. I agree. Okay, next to you, sir. You can do it in your own language. No. Okay, I'll give it one more time. Okay.
My leader is the, I think it's also, I like the pearl spirit.
Ah, really? Okay, so you like what? You like
Spirit.
free?
Spirit. Yeah.
Spirit.
Yes, spirit. So the body.
Okay. Got it. So what kind of spirit? Is it good spirit? Good spirit.
Good spirit.
Okay. Good spirit. Thank you.
She said God. Yeah.
God is
God
our master.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So God is your master because
I'm a Christian.
you're a Christian. So when we are Christian, but some Christians don't think God is a master. Okay, good.
Yeah, my leader be like my parents.
Oh, parents.
Yeah, because they show the way. How do I live better? Yeah, that's one.
Okay, great.
My leader is myself. Yeah, because sometimes I'm struggling to do something like decided, but ask somebody to opinion or advice, but you decide. I mean,
Yeah.
and you teach yourself.
Okay.
I mean me. And
Mhm.
so maybe my mistake myself.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last class. I mean, whether you're Christian or not, I mean, everyone is leader of his or her own life. So, because we make a decision.
Yeah.
And that's true. That's true. Okay, let's have a break for 5 minutes.
No, it's great.
It's great. You just a chill.
How was that one?
Do you have it?
No.
Purple? Oh, the live one.
Yeah. Then I just visited one
no one there. Like only 2 or 3 people. Yeah, it's been a while. We just changed it up and I'm so deep. So good. I'm also being super busy. Moving on. Yeah, so we moving in Huntington Beach. It's like the house good for course. Yeah, and we kick her out, and we now it's moving in our apartment. Another apartment. Oh yeah, huge house, huge bucket, nice. Perfect. So lot expensive, lot more expensive. Yeah, Huntington is cheaper. Huntington's nice. But my house is big.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, still expensive, but big.
So everyone at the house.
Yeah, so the woman guy for us, so over 4 bedroom, but split 5 ways. She sitting soon.
That's good.
Yeah,
What part of it?
I just need split 5.
Okay, let's continue with the
That's good. Close to the highway.
Yeah.
second part of the class. Okay, before I begin the lecture, I want you to, this is a self attendance sheet. What we have is your names here. I mean, these are the names that I have on the, from last class. But if you're new to this class or you haven't told me, written me your names, you can write in the blank. And there are 4 sections on each of you. First one, AT means attendance. So if you are here, just circle it or check it. Then EX means exercise. If you come and do the class exercise we just did, then that's the 1.1%. So you just check that. And then assignment. I gave you assignment last week, just to go over the outline. If you've done that, and you check. And then there's a quiz. Quiz is coming. So if you're here, you're gonna take a quiz. I'm not gonna grade the quiz, but if you took it, you passed. Okay? Whether you did good or not, it doesn't matter. So if you find your names here, if it's wrong, please make a correction on your names. And I'll just give this one first, and then if you don't find your names, you can write on. So check last class, July 2nd, and today, July 9th.
That's good.
Yeah. If you have your names, just.
What if I don't have a name? Can I write down?
Yeah, write your own name.
Oh, somewhere else?
Yeah, anywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
No.
Yeah.
We're going to ask you. You write on this, please. Not there. So how many of you are first time today? You and Did you hear that last week? You were in here, right? So just check this. These are 4 items. You just check them. Okay. Is it?
Which one is you? Is that you?
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
B I. Yes.
Okay.
So actually.
So check that, and today.
Rack.
Just circle or check. Thank you. What else? Do you have your link? You were here, yes, last week, right?
So I'm sorry.
So you did.
No, I didn't.
Put your name,
名字可以写
circle the.
对，it's okay.
可以可以，我就直接
So I don't have one, thank you.
对，然后就从你打开。因为你上次来了，对不对？啊，这次也来了，所以就打通就好。
他名字已经写完了，就完事儿了。
对，因为我们上次来的时候是。
Are you guys also on student visa?
Yeah.
You guys are good with the English.
No, I'm not.
Not really. I don't know if my name's right.
No.
No?
If you don't have your names there, then.
Right. No. Thank you.
Sure. So were you here last week? No.
No. No. Yeah, this is my first.
So Ren Lee is not here today, huh?
And then you look at that.
Do I have your name here? This is you?
Yes.
So I can match you with the name. Lu Shuyan?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now let's have a time for quiz.
Teacher? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, quiz. I know you don't like quiz, but this one's easy. Even if you haven't been here last week, I think you can do this. Oops. You guys need a pen?
I need a pen.
Give me the phone from the.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll go to the pen. Shape your words. No? Keep it over. 야, 펜 없지? 이거 펜. pen? So everyone has a pen? Yeah, 3 is T and 4 is F. Or you can put circle or X. Doesn't matter. If you think it's false, just put X or F. And for those who want the slideshow, the PowerPoints, please write down your name and email here, and I'll just more than glad to send you. So, by the way, you guys received the email from me? PowerPoint? You did? I sent one.
Oh, so sorry.
Probably it might be in your, trash or spam. So check the spam.
Not at all. It's not exciting.
If you want to PowerPoint, just write your name and the result. I'll send you the PowerPoint. Fine.
You're not sure, right?
Okay, let's grade if you're done. Not yet? Okay. Okay, number 1. You are a leader because you are leading yourself. True. And Ohio University found task-oriented behavior and relation-oriented behavior. Actually, this is Michigan University finding, so false. Number 2 is false. Number 3, yeah, biblical leadership is mastership. No, it's a stewardship. So it's false. Number 3 is false. It's not true. Number 4, biblical leadership aims for maturity. It is true. Good. And number 5, a leader leads people and accomplishes tasks. True. And one's leadership continues to develop and grow throughout one's lifetime. Yes. Mhm. And leadership style may differ from one situation to the other situation. Yes, true. And the secular leadership and biblical leadership are exactly the same? No. There are some overlapping parts, but it's different, and some are same. Not exactly the same. Number 9, meanings is fundamental reason to engage into. Yes, it is. So everyone has a meaning to his or her life. A steward is someone who gives command to others? No, who serve others. So 10 is false. Okay, you can keep your quiz and go over it and bring it next class, and I'll take it next class. So our whole purpose of doing this is just, go over the material and get to know at least one thing every class. I mean, I don't want you to understand everything there, but at least get one thing that's important to your life, and then you did good in your class. Okay, I will continue. Okay, next, personal conviction. The important element is commitment. In life, I mean, any life, if you are to live a meaningful one, and you need to commitment. You're committed to something. It means giving 100%. Commitment is, there's no like a 50% commitment, it's 100%. It has to be. Your time and your talent and your treasure. Treasure means money, the resource. And your life. And ask a question, why people give 100% of everything to something? Because it is important. Important for him or her. And it is important, maybe it's important because it gives a bread. It is important because it's meaningful. So everyone has different reasons, but you have to commit. Many Bible characters, they gave their life. And even in the church history, there are many who gave their life for the belief. Belief does not give you bread, but it is probably more important than bread. So blessed is the one who preserves under trial. So when you're committed, there is a cost of commitment. The commitment doesn't come free of charge. It always demands something from you. So you have to pay the price for the things that you are committed. So commitment is, in fact, it's not such a good thing. I mean, it costs you. And you are committed to people, or you're committed to work. So work, there's some important works in your life. And in 2 Timothy 2:15 says, do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who does not need to be ashamed and who correctly handles the word of truth. See, the work for Timothy, the leader, a Christian leader, it was the word of truth. So the Bible is probably the one important tool for Christians when you are going to work. I mean, just a secular job or ministry, doesn't matter. The word of God, the word of truth is a very important tool. And the mandate, again, mandate. This is a responsibility, a job, a task that someone gave to you. So mandate is not something that I want to do, but mandate is something that someone is giving responsibility to you. So you are mandated, and that's what it is. So you have to, I mean, not many of us have mandates, but a leader has to have a mandate. The concept of mandate is given responsibility, given task, given job, given work, or given chores. So these is the concept of mandate. So mandate is given to you. Mandate, it is blessing actually. You are designed to be or designed to become. And there is a portion, responsibility and privilege. So when a mandate is given from God, it is privilege. It's something that you can be proud of. So leader, they can be proud because they have received mandate from someone. Which means that person who's giving you mandate, the Lord, the master, or your boss, he is trusting you, or she is trusting you. So there's a trust. When you have a mandate, you can be proud because someone is trusting you. And trust is a very important thing in leadership. For example, Abraham got the mandate from God, and because Abraham listened to me and kept my mandate, my commands, my status, and my instructions. So this is a quality for someone to get mandate. So you are obedient to the command, and you keep your status, and you keep the master's instructions, and you are worthy, trustworthy of having the mandate. So, you have to prove yourself that you are worthy of having the mandate. Without the mandate, actually, you are not a leader. So, to be a leader, you need a mandate, and then you earn the trust, and then you get the mandate. For Israel, they had a mandate to therefore love Lord your God and always keep His mandate and His status, ordinance, and command. See the word mandate? So when God said to Israel, you worship God and keep the mandate. They had a mandate. And dominion. This is like a territory. That's another personal conviction. Dominion is a given territory, and it might be given people, it might be given workplace, and it could be your vocation, your career. So dominion and mandate goes together. When you have a mandate, then not all the mandates are the same size. Some mandates are big or bigger, some mandates are small. So you want to determine what is my dominion, what is my territory, how many people am I responsible? So each leader, you might be responsible for one, you might be responsible for 1,000. And if you're a president of a country, you're responsible for a whole country. So the dominion is different from leader to leader. But the thing is, you have to have a dominion. And for you, I mean, for us, the school, I mean, the school classroom, learning is your dominion for now. It's your mandate. So it is important to do good at your study. See? And if you're working, and then your job is a very important dominion. So do not forget that, please. Okay, while mandate means the given work itself, dominion means the amount of work. The dominion means the area. It means the limit, and it means the boundary. And the psalm, in the book of Psalms, it says, praise the Lord, all his works, everywhere in his dominion. Praise the Lord, my soul. See, according to this, the psalmist, the writer, saying, his dominion, God's dominion is my dominion. This is true for Christians. I mean, if you're a believer, God's dominion is my dominion. How big is God's dominion? It's whole world, whole globe, all people. So that's how the concept of missionary is born. I mean, God's dominion is God's territory, God's people is my people, my territory. So I go out there to serve them. So that's how it works. And then pretty much saying, God is your dominion. Not only God's dominion is my dominion, God himself is my dominion. It's saying the worshiping God, getting closer with God, and knowing God, and understanding God, and living, walking with God. That's my dominion. That's my responsibility. That's my area. That's my territory. So that's how the psalmist view about the dominion. Okay. Importance and significance of dominion. Dominion limits. Dominion identifies and specifies and divides and foresees. The dominion, I mean, you have to see the future. Many leaders are so bound to now and here. They are not able to see the future. But better leader, a good leader, not only sees now and here, but he or she has to see beyond. So future and beyond here. That's how your dominion grows. So dominion is given, but it does not stay limited. It grows as you mature and grow. So if you're becoming a better leader than yesterday, which means your dominion is grown again that much. So if you grow another year as a leader, and your dominion also grows. That's how God works. And if you are not ready, God is not going to give you a burden of big dominion. But if you're mature, God is going to give you a bigger dominion. That's how it works. And same with your secular job. I mean, if you're a better manager, if you're a mature manager, then you have more responsibility. And that responsibility also gives you more authority, and it also gives you more money, right? So even if you are working for the money, it is important to grow and mature in your responsibility, because that's a better leader. Now, this is a lesson 2, and I'll go pretty quickly over this, and I'm going to email you the PowerPoint so you can go over the rest of them if we kind of finish within the time. Biblical worldview, or any worldview, is important for leaders. So this is the second important ethos for leaders. Why worldview? Okay, leaders, worldview lead. Because, I mean, how you see the world, how you understand the world, that's how you are going to lead. I mean, there's no other way. What you see is what you believe. What you see is what you believe. So, the worldview is about your life. I mean, you have to have a life view. Now, if you're your age, I mean, if you're older than 20 or 18, and then you have to have a certain life view. You know how life is going. I mean, you kind of try to interpret what the life is about. So that's a life view. And then you have a vision. You have dream. If you don't have dream, then it's hard for you to become a leader. So it is important to have a dream. It doesn't have to be a big dream, but you have to have a dream, a vision. So you kind of have a way that you are going. So vision is like a looking forward to. So that's important. Without a vision, you're not going to succeed. And you have to have a belief. Whether you believe God or something else, you have to have a belief. I recommend and I just encourage you to have a belief in God and Jesus Christ. But I'm not going to force it, because it's your choice, your decision about your life. But you have to have a certain belief, whether you believe in Allah or some other spirit, Buddha, or whatever. Everyone has a belief. And then that belief determines your value. And then ends with a choice. Everyone make a decision, and that choice. If you think of a choice, I mean, if you analyze it, it has to do with your belief, your value, your vision, and your life view. So that's why the worldview is important. It's not visible way out there, but it is important. Okay, worldview. It's about the meaning and purpose. It interprets your life, and it tells why you are here. It tells why you are here. For example, many of us are educated and taught to believe in evolution. See, evolution is a one worldview system. I mean, it views the world as, about the life. It happened to be happen by accident, and it from a little simple amino acid, it develops into birds and flowers, and then it develops into monkey, and then it became a human being somehow. They say somehow, they don't know exactly how, but evolution is to believe somehow it had happened. That's one system of worldview. But I believe in different worldview. We are created at one time and within one frame, and the birds are created as birds, and the human beings are created as human beings. So that's a different worldview. So how you see the world, how you interpret, it makes a difference in your life. See, worldview explains about the life and death. Because every human being, if you have a mind and thoughts, gonna ask a question sometime in your life. Why am I here? What is a life? Why do we have to die? Can we not be able to avoid death? And these are the important questions every person is asking. And the worldview is kind of gives an explanation and reasoning on those questions. And the marriage, I mean, what is a marriage? Do I have to get married? And if I marry, should I marry this person or that person? See, these are the important questions. And then worldview kind of gives an answer. And sickness, disaster, and destiny, and causes and origin. See, the most important question, philosophical question is, where did I came from? How am I happen to be here at this particular time? How did it happen? So that's the question about the cause and the origin. And people have many different answers. Each culture has a different answers. Each religion has a different answers. But the worldview is answering those important life questions. Okay, let me give you some examples of expressions of worldview. Worldviews are expressed in a culture. It is expressed through the language, and it's expressed through the rituals, like a marriage, birth rituals, or death rituals, as ceremony. And then customs, traditions, taboos. Taboos are very important because it tries to avoid unpleasant experiences or sickness or accident. So there is something called taboos. And the social structures, that is also important because that kind of explains how people see the family and business and these things. And kinds of worldview. Yeah, these are the kinds of worldview. I mean, religion is one. Ideology, whether it's communism, socialism, or democracy. The political ideology is one of it's kind of worldview. And philosophy, ethics and morals. These have to do with the worldview. So this is how people see the world, and then they kind of created or learned from, and then they believe in it. There are some ancient worldviews, and these are sometimes still, runs your culture. Shamanism. You believe in the spirits, many spirits. And shaman is the one who mediates between the spirits and you. So that's the shamanism. Totemism, you build certain totem. Totem is a man-made object, idol. And then you go down there and bow down and this thing. So totemism is an ancient worldview. And then animism. They worship the animals or like elephants, whale, or these things. And they believe that every living thing has their own spirit. So they worship those. That's animism. And the ancestor worship. Yeah, this is popular in many of us Asian countries. So we know what the ancestor worship is like. Okay, now worldview and leadership. What you eat is who you are. Okay. So if you eat unhealthy, you become unhealthy. If you eat healthy, you become healthy. Same thing with the leadership. What you see is who you are. And what you believe is who you are. So the worldview is very important. So to know that leader, you gotta understand his or her worldview. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. So what you see, you believe. But the seeing, not only the object, you are able to see unseen things, so that way you believe those. Your worldview makes your decisions. That's important. Having a solid worldview is having the integrity. Integrity, that's key to, I mean, if you're living in America, that's gonna be the most important word that you wanna remember at any situation. Say, if you made a mistake, I mean, in America, if you lie, that's the worse than making a mistake, right? In our culture, I mean, in Korean culture, you can lie to avoid, and that's one of your life skills. But in America, if you lie, that has to do with the integrity, and then they're not gonna trust you ever. So that's one cultural difference that you have to learn. But going back to the decision, your worldview, that's how you are going to make decision. Every decision that you make, it has to do with your worldview. So that's why the worldview is important. You may not think of a worldview that very often, but as a leader, it is important, very important subject. And the paradigm is something very similar to worldview, but paradigm is like a blueprint. So if you are building a house, you have to have a blueprint. A paradigm is like a blueprint. So it's a underlying picture of the things, the surroundings. Paradigm is like a basic framework, and it's a bone structure. See, you look at the body, and there you see the flesh. You don't see the bones, but you can touch it, and it's underlying there. So paradigm is like your bones. It's not visible, but it is there to support and to make the structure. That's what the paradigm is. And then platform, system, building blocks, and underlying structure. These are the concept of paradigm. Example, political paradigm, democracy, dictatorship. These are two different paradigms. Economy, capitalism, socialism. These are two different paradigms. I wouldn't say which one's better or bad, but these are the paradigms. Religion, for example, even if you're a Christian, there's a Catholic, Protestant. They think different, they have different paradigms. Catholics, they do worship Mother Mary, but in Protestantism, we don't. So that's a different paradigm. Arts, classical art, and music, and heavy metal. These are two different paradigms in music. And sports, there are ball games, and then the track and fields, you run, and you don't use ball. That's a different paradigm. And media, radio and television are two different paradigms. So these are the concepts to explain what the paradigms are. Frame of references. Root, pillar, floor, and doors. See, you have a blueprint. Now you're building a house. And in a house, you have a wall, and a pillar, and you have windows and doors, and these are, and roof and floor. See, these are the frame of reference. So it's kind of, it's within a house, but they are different elements. And the frame of reference, it distinguishes and it differentiates. So, say, female and male. So that's a kind of frame of reference. See? Older and younger. That's a frame of reference for us. A mature Christian or a younger Christian. That's kind of frame of reference. So this frame of reference, if it determines the details. It separates and divides, and it identifies, and it kind of gives a relationship to each element, and also distinct and diverse. So it has to do with the diversity. And it is important to know the frame of reference. For leaders, the most important frame of reference is understanding a human being. See, how are you going to tell someone about this person? You will say, oh, he is tall, or she is pretty. Yeah, that's a good frame of reference. But for leaders, that's not not good frame of reference. Leaders should be able to, his weakness are these, her strength are these. So these are the terms for frame of reference. So to be a good leader, it is critical to have good, wide, and useful frame of references. So to build, you have to build your own frame of reference through your experience. So as you experience as a leader, you're gonna invent many different frame of references. I've worked with the younger people. Teenager to college age. The oldest group is 30, 40 at their age. But most of the time I worked with college students. And if you're working with younger people, college students, you have to counsel them. And as you counsel them, at the beginning you don't know them. You don't know people. But as you experience many more counsels, then you develop this frame of references. And that references help you to understand that person much better. And that means that you are able to give a better counsel and a better help to that person. So this is very important for leaders to build a good frame of references. Okay, let me give you some examples of a frame of references. For example, you use a Google Map, right? And there are some elements like contours, longitude and latitude. And then there's a road and there's a house. So, Google does not show that, but all the maps that we use, it has those elements. And the qualifiers, height, width, length, and weight. These are the frame of references. And qualifiers, wealth, health, IQ, EQ, these are some examples of good frame of reference. And classifications, man, animal, plant. So these are kind of frame of references. So these frame of references, what they do is it validates, and it justifies, and it qualifies, and it quantifies. So when you see a person as a leader, and when you see a task, a work as a leader, you need these frame of references and measurements, whether this is a big or small, whether this is a good or bad, whether this is a timely or late. So you have to have these references. Okay, Genesis of the Word. Now we are going into the biblical worldview. I just taught you about the worldview in general. Now, how Christians view the Word. So this is a Christian thing, Bible thing, and many think that Christianity as one of the religion, but I would say Christianity is a culture, and it has to do with the worldview. So if you really study Christianity properly, and then you'll build a certain worldview. Not religious view, but worldview. And this is how they saw, Jewish and the Christians together. We share the same worldview because we believe in the Old Testament as well. So, see, it's about how we see the time, space, and the power, the origin of the things, and the origin of life and the meaning of life and these things. So these are the written in the Bible. It's within the first 2 chapters. So if you have never read the Bible, probably this is a good time to do it. I don't want you to, I'm not going to force you to read the whole Bible because it's going to take a whole year to read it thoroughly. But try to read the first 3 chapters of Bible. Because in that first 3 chapters of Bible, whole biblical worldview is there. So for us Christians, if you're a believer, it is critical and important to know and understand. It's a creation story. Many think it's a creation story. It's not just a story. It has these worldview elements. So it is important, very important to learn and study first 3 chapters of Bible. Without having good knowledge of first 3 chapters of Bible, then you don't really understand the Bible at all. So it is critical and important. And I'm going to show you just a few of it. Biblical worldview. How Hebrews saw the world, and how Christian sees the world, and how God sees His world. That's our biblical worldview. And first, it begins by saying heavens and earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. See, that's how it begins. Now the question, some of translation does not do that, but most good English translation says heavens and earth. Have you ever asked why there are heavens, not instead of heaven? No, it doesn't say one heaven, but there are many heavens. Do you know how many heavens we have? So this is a very basic question. Well, if that's a Hebrew version, right? When they read and memorized. If you are 12 years old and male, then you have to memorize the first 5 books of the Bible. That's a Hebrew tradition. You have to memorize it, and when you are asked, you have to, say it right away. So the first 5 books is probably several hundred pages. You have to memorize it. And they did. And the first thing they say is the heavens and earth. So ask yourself, why heavens, not just one heaven? See, they knew and understood there are many heavens, not just one. So this is different from, other people who are not Christians. They think there is one heaven, and that's it. But Christians and Jews, they believe there are more than one heaven. And it says heavens and earth means there is an unseen world and tangible world. There is a divine domain and there is a human domain. So the heavens are divine domain, while the earth is our domain. See, that's how they divided the 2 different worlds. So there's an unseen world and seen, visible world. That's how Christians see the world. So this is very important. You're going to put the value to that unseen world, and some people put the less value to earth. So even Christians, heaven, they think heaven is better, earth is bad, or earth is less. Do you think it's a correct, proper, right way to see the world? So think about it. Now, in the beginning, God created the heaven and earth. Verse 2. The earth was formless and empty. The earth was formless and empty. That's how they understood. So, earth was formless and empty. Formless means chaos. No shape, no order. And the empty means no content and no essence. So, that was, now is. So before what we see, the earth, now earth is form, it has form, and it is filled with life. But before, it didn't have life. And that's how they understood. So, chaos, no form, science says it's gas. I mean, it used to be gas. Before earth became earth, or sun became a sun, it was in gas form. So it, of course, with science. I mean, science tells this, and the Bible tells this, and it's the same. So that's something that we need to think about. They didn't have the word gas in ancient times, so they said formless. So this tells about the history of the earth, and it is true with the science. Now, then darkness versus the Spirit of God. So this is how Christians see the world. And there's darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. So the light and darkness is contrast. It doesn't go together. So there are two different worlds for Christian. There's a word that is the light, and then there's a darkness. And for Christian, darkness image, there's a Lord of darkness, the evil one, the Satan. And the light, I'm the light of the world. This is Jesus Christ. He came and said, I'm the light of the world. So that's two different words, darkness and the light. So darkness versus Spirit of God explains the unseen world and visible world and the invisible world. Visible world versus invisible world. Good spirit versus evil spirit, and divine spirit, angelic spirit, and human spirit. There are three different kinds of spirit. So in the spirit world, there's a divine spirit, God, Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And then there's an angelic spirit, Miguel, and Lucifer, which is a Satan, right? So two different angel spirits, evil one and good one. And then human spirit, there's a human spirit that is death, and there's human spirit that is alive. So that's how we see. I mean, the Christians, the Bible sees the world. So the Bible is not just telling you to be religious, but it tells you this is how God has formed the world. This is how God designed a life to be. This is how God thinks of a human who rebelled against God. So these are the topics and the subjects that the Bible discusses. And to be a biblical leader, I mean, you have to know the Bible, right? And even though you're not a believer, you're not a Christian, it is good to know how Christian sees the world. So that's the subject of our study. And we'll stop here today. And the assignment again is read the outline of chapter 3. Okay? I just go over it. It's not going to take you more than 5 minutes to go over it. Just take your 5 minutes and read the chapter 3, lesson 3, and come back, and then you can check yes on the attendance sheet. So long and goodbye, and see you next week.